Hello, welcome the presentation on computational modeling of organizational learning by self-modeling networks. I am Gülay Cambaloğlu and I will present our paper today. As we know, learning takes place in human minds in many different ways, such as observation, trial and failure, communicating with each other, and even thinking. In our minds, we have representative models of situations to understand and interpret them, and we comprehend the things and create linkages between them by the help of these inner models. In other words, we have in-person mental models of the outside world as relational structures. We use them, we adapt them, and we control them. Using mental models is a spontaneous process that starts very early and continues for a long time. For example, when we look at the development of a human from birth, we can see that the first mental models are created for solid matters and their relationships between us in our minds. And then as we grow up, we start to have more mental models of abstract concepts. Adaptation of mental models means change on these models by learning and forgetting, by time and experience, of course. Our understanding of a concept that we know but don't use it yet can change when we directly use it. Even our understanding of the world sometimes changes when we experience extreme difficulties or extreme happiness, for instance. Sometimes we learn the connections between our mental model states become stronger, and sometimes we forget those connections become weaker. And finally, of course, we have the ability of controlling our mental models. Factors like learning speed and persistence determine the amount of control over the adaptation of our mental models. Yes, people have mental models and they learn, and organizations also learn. The development of organizational learning consists of 4 different stages. Individual learning of mental models. This is our first phase in our model also. In this first phase, individuals improve their mental models. In second phase, their shared mental model is formed by individuals. This is the feed-forward learning part of organizational learning. And in the third phase, individuals start to learn from their shared mental model. It's feedback learning from organization to individuals, and it's called instructional learning. And the last one is the improvements of individuals with the help of their shared mental model created in the second phase. One of the reasons that make this topic interesting and worth exploring is that organizational learning both represents learning level and mental situation of people in an organization, and also becomes separate from individuals and even affects them at some point. I mean, for example, we can say that a society, maybe not the whole society, only a part of it, create a culture, but the shared culture becomes very strong and it starts to create the individuals after a point. It's both dependent and independent from people. It's like a chicken and egg situation. Individuals create organization shared mental model and organization creates them. Therefore, it's really important to study organizational learning. And one of the most popular papers in this area is Kim's paper, and this is a quote from that paper. Organizational learning is dependent on individuals improving their mental models. Making those mental models explicit is crucial to developing new shared mental models. This process allows organizational learning to be independent of any specific individual. And because the mental models in individuals' heads are where a vast majority of an organization's knowledge lies. It's very important to study it. This is the overall cognitive architecture for mental models. We can see the 3-layer structure like in the screen. As I explained in the previous slides, these are usage, adaptation, and control of adaptation. When we try to transform this to a self-modeling network, is the picture to see the equivalent layers. Layers on the left are the representations of the cognitive architecture for mental models, and the ones on the right side represent the layers of self-modeling network. Base level includes a network of the mental model itself. First order self-model level includes adaptation tools like connection weights for the base level network at the bottom. And the second order self-model level includes the control tools like speed and learning factors. We have an illustrative case adapted from the intubation scenario. Here inside the red box, we have a nurse, we have the mental states of the nurse. And we can see that nurse has knowledge on first two tasks, but not the other ones, and takes action for the first two tasks. While the doctor, these are the doctor's mental states, the doctor has knowledge on last two tasks and takes action for them here. These are the notations and explanations of those four tasks in the previous slides. The preparation parts is held by nurse and the execution part is held by doctor. But in our model, we generalize the states, these notations, by naming them like this. These are the task states for person A, these are for person B, and these are for the organization. In our model, the first person A knows about first two connection, but not the last one for task D. Therefore, this D state is a ghost state for A, is a hollow state. And there's no learning here in the beginning. And on the other hand, for person B, this is the hollow state for person B, because person B have knowledge on this last two connection, but not the first one. Therefore, there is no learning in the beginning for this A state. Comparing this with the previous intubation case makes us think that person A is the nurse who does the first preparation parts, and person B is the doctor who executes the operation. A is responsible for starting off the job, and B is responsible for ending it. And here is our generalized organization states for shared mental model that didn't exist in the beginning because we don't have a shared mental model in the beginning. And we also have, as I said, we have 4 different phases. We have 4 different context states. These are the context states. In the first order self-model level, the upper one, this blue one, we have W states for the connections between the base level states. For each connection, we have different W states. They represent the weight of the connections to make them adaptive. For example, for person B, for the connection between A and B, we have this W state. These are for individual W states. These are the individual W states, and these are the organization W states. To make the formation of shared mental model possible, we need connections from individual states, W states to organization W states like this. These connections are needed in become activated in second phase to make the formation of shared mental model possible. After this activation of these links, these W states become activated also, and they affect the connection between the organization states, base level states, and the shared mental model is created. And also we have the opposite links from organization to individuals to make individuals able to learn from their shared mental model. And this is our overall adaptive network model with the all levels. Base level, as I just explained, includes the individuals and organizations' mental model states. It's the core of our model. It can be seen as like this. We have W states here. And in the second order self-model level, we have H states to control the speed of learning. We have M states to control the persistence of the learning. And also we have higher order W states here. Because we have W to W connections and we want to make them adaptive, we need higher order W states here to represent the weight of these connections. And also we have speed factors for organizational states. This is our simulation result, the overall simulation result. These are the phases. These are the phases. This first phase includes the improvements of person A and B's individual mental models. Because person A does not have for state D in the first phase, it remains at 0 until learning from organization is done. We can see here. First 3 states for person A becomes higher, and for last 3 states for person B becomes higher in this first phase because it's the individual learning phase. And in the second phase, this is the second phase, our shared mental model is formed. These are the shared mental model W states. Because shared mental model is formed here, individuals becomes able to learn from their shared mental model. Therefore, their hello ghost states becomes activated here, and they use the advantage of their shared mental model. And also, there's a difference here, as you can see, because our persons are different and their persistence of learning values are also different. Their forgetting levels are also different. Here is A is more forgettable person than B. Therefore, A's lines are decreasing more. And in the last phase, here, in the last phase, as I said, their hello states becomes non-zero. And that's all. It's a short summary for the things that I explained. I explained mental models and organizational learning, and I showed the pictures of cognitive architecture and self-modeling networks. I described our case and model, and finally, I showed the simulation results. Thanks for listening again. If you have any question, you can ask.